Hey, what is up guys? It's Ben from Brick Studios here, and in today's video I'm going to be taking a look at these 4 Iron Man mechs. Now, starting in the front we have the Hulkbuster from the 2015 movie Age of Ultron, Avengers Age of Ultron, and then back here we have the, it's not technically a Hulkbuster, actually Bruce Banner wore it. This is from the 2018 Avengers Infinity War movie. This one was released in 2019 alongside the Lego Endgame sets, but it never actually appeared in the movie. And then this one is from the oldest movie, but it's the most recent out of the set. So this one is from the 2008 Iron Man film, the very first one, and but it was released just this year. So I'm going to be comparing them on 3 things. First of all, the height difference between the 4 of them, the mobility, and then also the realism to their movie counterparts, excluding this one because obviously this one did not appear in a movie. So let's start off with the height. Alright, so for the height, this guy is definitely the shortest out of the 4. Comparing him to the 2018 one, you can see he's definitely shorter. And then these 2 are actually just about the same height. So these ones were obviously released a year apart. So they're actually designed very similar. You can even see the similarities in their feet. Very, very similar to each other. So these ones are basically the same height. Obviously this one does have the shoulder cannon up there, which makes him quite a bit taller. But the main mech is basically the same height. Now, the Ironmonger, though, is by far the tallest out of the 4 of them. So comparing, putting this guy in front of him, you can see he is by far the tallest. He's also just the biggest overall. I mean, if I were to spread this guy's arms out, you can see he just about is as wide as Ironmonger, just with his arms kind of off to the side. I mean, obviously the Ironmonger's arms can go out, but yeah, so this one is definitely the tallest and also just the biggest out of the 4 of them. Alright, next let's talk about their mobility, and I have to say these 2 guys here have the best mobility out of the 4 of them. So both of these have a shoulder joint, a elbow joint, it's either a knee or an ankle joint, it's kind of hard to tell, and also a hip joint. So, and these are all ball joints, so they have a lot of flexibility in motion and stuff like that. And this one has the same as this one, so the 2018 and the 2015 one are basically the same. But this one does have the shoulder joint, but it has, instead of a ball joint at its elbow, you can rotate the arm like 360 degrees, but there's no ball joint, so it's just a Technic pin. So a little different there, so not quite as much motion, but I think it still works. And of course he does have the hip joint and the knee, or the elbow, or not the elbow, the ankle joint. So it's still pretty good motion on this one. But the Ironmonger one, however, there are a couple things that limit it. So first of all, there's these pistons here, or these actuators. I'm not sure the proper name for them, but the Ironmonger does have these in the movie, so these are realistic. But the problem is they sort of limit the mobility that you can get on his arms, because these have to move with it. So kind of worried about like bending these pieces, but anyhow, it's not too bad. But actually one of the big problems is these sort of shoulder armor here. So if I put this arm down, you can see that these are now at an angle, and I actually can't flatten these out. So that's kind of annoying. So you kind of have to keep his arms sort of spread out a little bit, which looks kind of awkward. You have to keep them out sort of like that. So it kind of looks awkward, but that's just to keep these nice and flat. And then his elbow, he does have an elbow ball joint. You can't move it. You can't really change the angle too much this way. But you can move it in and out. So that's pretty good on his arms. But like on this side, there's this hose that kind of further limits that mobility. And then his legs, in the movie, he actually clearly has a knee joint here. But he doesn't have this in this Lego form. And then his foot is it can flex just enough to go flat on the ground. but that's about it. You can't really pose it too much. You can see there's not a whole lot of mobility there. So yeah, so that is their mobility. All right, lastly, let's talk about their realism to their movie counterparts. Obviously, I'm just going to pull this one off to the side because he didn't appear in a movie. But this 2015 one, it's really simple. And I hate to even say this, but I wish there were more stickers on it because there's a lot of missing parts to it, I feel like, and it just doesn't have a lot of detail. It's very simple, very basic. So, and also his feet here are pretty simple too. Just not a whole lot going on here. It is kind of interesting to see how much Lego has progressed in making these. They've gotten a lot better, I feel like. But so this one, definitely not too realistic. And also, the main thing is his head. So in this one, his head is kind of flush with the top. Whereas in the movie, it's more like there. It pops out more, just like a head on a normal person. So, but this one, it kind of sits flush with his like shoulders and stuff like that, which kind of makes it look weird and makes it look shorter too. So, but then the 2018 one, so this one is actually really good. In the movie, it's much more sleeker than like the 2015 one. It's sleek and it kind of reminds me of the Mark 45. It's very sleek, and they did a pretty good job showing that though, with like this plate and stuff, and then also this, how it kind of bridges over the arc reactor. That's very true to the movie, and then even like the toes and stuff like that, and then the details on the face mask are also very realistic as well. Compared to the movie. And then like even these arms, they show the little arc reactors here, and then the gold accents here, even with this little flare. You can see how this kind of pops up. This is really realistic to the movie. But this guy, the Ironmonger, is not. So there's a couple things. First of all, like I said, he did clearly have a knee joint in the movie. They just, I'm not sure why they didn't include that, but the main thing is the height. So like I said, this guy was by far the tallest. So I'm going to go ahead. This is Obadiah Stane. I'll put him right next to him. So in the movie, in Iron Man, Obadiah Stane actually walks up one step and puts in the arc reactor. So just one step. And as you can tell, even if you walked up a couple steps, this is like a two-story building here. I'm not sure why they made it so big. But yeah, this thing is just, this mech is gigantic. And then also even his face mask, like his helmet, you can see compared to Obadiah Stane, like his head, it's supposed to be like Iron Man, right? Like it's a little bit bigger than his head, but it's not supposed to be like twice the size. So this is just way too big. I'm not sure why they made it, why they made this mech so large, but anyhow, it's just something I noticed. I'm not sure why they did that. And also, just another quick thing, they did leave this large open gap here, so you can see that's where Obadiah Stane sits. They left this kind of large gap here, which is kind of annoying, but I'm not sure why they didn't put maybe like a ball joint there and put a piece across. But anyhow, those are just my thoughts on these sets. I like doing these comparisons. Obviously, I'm a big Iron Man fan, so I like doing these comparisons. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out. Bye.